Hi, this is Alan with frontendaudio.com, and we're here with the Blackline Audio PM8. The PM8 is a unit that's basically built as a modified unit off of the SM Pro Audio PM8. Basically what Blackline has done is given us a couple of different options while also changing some of the core elements inside, mainly that they go to a 3/4 watt resistor on each of the channels. And they use a surface mount technology basically because it has a lower shot noise than the leaded resistors. But then also use a silicon steel transformer throughout. And that's basically something that is like akin to what companies like API or Electrodyne use or used for their output transformers. It has that very vintagey sort of sound. Basically the same transformers that are used in the Artura preamp, which has a really fantastic sound. So you basically have a couple of different output options on this. The standard SM Pro box is going to have basically what is kind of like a transformerless output. And then it also has, and it gives you two of those in separate level controls. So you basically can control something going to your recorder and then basically use the other as like a monitor input, or basically control going through a couple of different chains. One of the important things to note about using summing mixers is really that's not controlling your monitors off of a summing mixer is really not the way that you really want to use it, because you're basically bringing everything together, and then you have basically stereo equalization and compression to consider. So you're usually running hardware units after this before it goes to your final stereo left and right recorder. So it's just something to keep in mind whenever you're putting your system together and considering going with a summing mixer. But basically, you have a transformer output now on the Blackline PM8 using the silicon steel type of transformers. And then a transformerless output using that 1646 output chip. And so the differences in sound are basically going to be this, that with the transformer outputs, basically below 250 hertz is where you're going to start getting like this really interesting second and third order harmonic distortion. So it really gives this nice low frequency bloom to the sound. You have good separation in the highs, and it has a frequency response basically of 20 hertz through 30 kilohertz. You'd think that it would start to roll off about 15K and so forth and give kind of a roll off sound, but it actually extends out pretty far. And so you get really good high end response through that. Over here, basically with the transformerless output and going through that chip, or THAT 1646 chip, just depending upon whichever way you want to say it. But basically, that is now going to give you a much more solid mid-range and high-frequency picture. It's not going to be doing the distortion and the lows and so forth. It's clearer overall, a little bit more together in certain regards, but it just really depends on what flavor you're going for. I found this box to really have a good tight sound to it. And so it really kind of held the energy really together and had a little bit of anger to it. So it's a really cool character, especially if you've got a 002, 003 rack, something like that, and you want to take your main outputs and then your main 8 line outputs and bring this out here and then pan them out into stereo pairs. So you get 4 stereo pairs, 4 groups there that you can submix within Pro Tools, or it doesn't have to be Pro Tools. You can use any DAW and bring your outputs up here and then basically adjust your final mix level here between all those different pairs. Or even for something where you have very few elements, you can actually do your panning here, bring up individual elements, and then maybe like stereo reverb or something like that, bring your effects bus here and be able to do things that way. That's a pretty cool way to do it. One of the other really cool options about the PM8 is that it gives you, and this is something that's present on the SM Pro Audio version as well, is that you have a passive summing mixer output. And so it's basically a passive summing network inside. And a lot of summing mixers are designed like this. There's not a whole lot of variation in that particular network of what can be done. You can change the quality of the various components and so forth, but mainly it's going to be the type of transformers that you're using and the output amplifier as to how you're really going to be changing things in these units and achieving different sounds. Fully active and fully balanced boxes are going to be a different thing altogether. On the back of the unit, you're going to find that we have 8 line inputs here for obviously your 8 channels. Their combo connectors allow you to use XLR or tip ring sleeve quarter wrench. The next row up, you're going to have the outputs, which are going to be the transformerless, transformer, and then your passive outputs. So master 2, master 1, and passive, which would go to a pair of microphone preamplifiers. And then over here is going to be your linking capability. You can link up multiple PM8s. You're really limited to 2 of them though. And this is because you really just take a DB25 to DB25 cable and link them up. And so this gives you the ability to take the outputs without having to, let's say, take the outputs here and run it into, or like the passive outputs, and then run it into another one. You can do that daisy chaining, but you're only getting like 6 more inputs every time you put one of these together. So this really, 16 channels really is a pretty sufficient summing mixer setup. So 2 of these together, thumbs up. And finally, something I forgot to mention on the front panel is the mute here. This is really useful, I found, in terms of just auditioning and isolating each one of the stereo stems I was monitoring, because that's the way I was basically setting this up for use, was to have 4 groups of left and right submixes coming into the box. So it helped me to really listen to just the drums or what have you without having to go and isolate groups and so forth inside the DAW. So just another handy feature there. All in all, if you're looking to get more punch and life out of your DAW system, your home project studio, or even Pro Studio, this is a really good box to check out. I think that all the different options and features available in this box really make it something that's pretty special. So for more information on the Blackline Audio PM8 and for all your pro audio needs, check us out online at frontendaudio.com. Thanks.